Hello YouTube, just a short video today on Australian rules football goal umpires and the basic equipment that they use for a game. We'll start from the ground up, which seems about the logical thing. When we have some dry and firm conditions or we're playing on an artificial surface, we don't need a lot of grip on the feet. Just some sort of footwear which is comfortable, something along these lines. It's got a little bit of grip, provides you comfort because you might be umpiring a game or two and be on your feet for 2 or 3 hours. Something with a bit of padding. It's predominantly black in colour. That's what most associations use. If you find you've got some wet or muddy conditions or the ground's a bit uneven or slippery, you might need to go for something like this, a football boot of some sort that's got some cleats or stops in the bottom. This provides a bit of extra grip for when you're moving side to side because you do a lot of quick, short, sharp movements. Again, we try to go to something that's predominantly black in colour. The brand and type of boot you use is really up to you. This is just the one I ended up with, so that seems to do the job for me. The next thing we can move on to would be footwear. Now normally with the footwear we just wear something like black socks. Some associations and different leagues provide a different colour uniform, like grey uniform, and they might require you to wear grey socks, or if there's special exhibition games of some sort you might have to wear a particular type of socks. But just the standard black socks is fine. If you find the ground's a bit hard or you haven't got long stop boots, you can always wear the second or third pair of socks or a thicker pair of socks. That usually does the trick also. The next thing we have is just some normal black slacks, black pants, normally long. Male and female version, there's not much difference. Again, some associations require different colours. Basically the AFL normally use grey, and most other associations just use the normal standard long black pants. This is just the ones I use. You can pick them up at a discount store, and there's no real set criteria for what you need, just whatever's black, looks good condition. Obviously something like jeans is probably not the go. And the next thing we'd move on to would be different types of tops. Now it all depends what association or league you play in, and most leagues are moving towards the lime green type of top. Some leagues still use the orange like this. The sponsors on the back of the shirts really vary from league to league, and some don't have any sponsors logos on the back, some have a lot. Other associations use the lime green type of shirt or different versions of them. The badging and the sponsorship again varies from league to league. They're all more or less a standard thing, just a nylon shirt, short sleeve. There are long sleeve versions, but they're pretty straightforward things. Now when we have a bit of inclement weather, we do wear wet weather gear because you are standing out in the rain and the wind. Again, these are just some waterproof clothes, waterproof long pants. Pick them up at sort of any fishing store or camping store. It's pretty straightforward stuff. The elastic has a few pockets on the side. Different associations, leagues also allow you to wear a raincoat. The one I normally umpire in require a white raincoat. This is just a plain white raincoat. It's got some webbing inside to help with the breathing and moisture. It doesn't have any badging or logos on it. That's fine. It has a hood, but I never use that. It's very breathable. It has lots of pockets in there, so you can put all your bits and pieces in there, so they're quite adequate. The cost is fairly negligible. Some places supply these types of wet weather gear for you. If not, you can just purchase them at most good reliable stores that sell that type of thing. Right, the next thing a goal umpire would use would be a hat, a good cap of some sort. Now these vary again from association to association. These are just different types of hats that the different leagues have that I umpire in. The main difference with the caps I've found is that some have the Velcro tab in the back to adjust, and some have the push button studs. I prefer the ones with push button studs, but that's just a personal choice. You just adjust it to the size that you require, and it's fairly basic. You've got a peak on the front, just keeps the wind off, the wind and the sun, the rain. Just protects your nose and your face a little bit, and just keeps your hair, if you have long hair, from floating around all above the place. Different types of hats, which are game day caps you can wear to and from the games, and other types for actual games. The next bit of equipment that's probably most important for goal umpires is flags. Now, there's two parts to a flag. We normally have a pole, which is AFL length. we have a couple of different size poles here. We have a two-piece pole. I prefer to use a one-piece pole, but that's just personal choice. This one's a little bit thicker than normal. I place a little bit of blue tape on mine to identify mine from others, because a lot of brands are similar and a lot of other umpires have the same type of pole. This just helps me identify mine. Some have grips on the bottom, some are fairly plain. Again, that's just personal choice. That poles are fairly standard in size and length. This is just a two-piece pole. You just simply slide the two halves together. It's a lot easier for travel when you have a shorter pole. And then we have the sail, or flag as a lot of people would call them. This is a new one which I don't use because I like this thinner type of material. The good thing with this type of material is when it gets wet it doesn't stick, and it just flies through the air a little bit easier. To attach a sail to a pole, it's really quite simple. You just thread it through the little pocket on the end here, if I can get it in. And just pull it down. Now a lot of new sails have this little piece of string there, and you're probably wondering what that's for. Normally poles, this one doesn't have it, and I prefer to not have a pole with a hole in it. But you just simply thread this string through, tie it off into a little knot, and then put some tape around the bottom to also give it a bit of extra grip to stop it slipping. This one doesn't have any string on the bottom. I just put tape straight on the bottom, stops it from moving. It's quite adequate, and when you finish you just roll your flag up or fold it, whichever way you want to do it, and place them away. And that's our flags taken care of. Now the last thing we're going to look at is scorecards and where you place them. Normally you would just use any sort of cover. This is just an old diary cover, just helps keep things in place. You can have a couple of scorecards in there. We've got a couple of different types of cards here. Different associations have different types of cards. The layout's more or less the same. You just need somewhere to record goals and behinds. And again, it's a slightly different layout, but they're all much the same thing. And you just want something that you can slide into a little waterproof case or protective cover. We also have wet weather boards for when it's bucketing down rain. This cardboard or paper will get wet fairly quickly. There is a plasticized version where you can write on it with pencil and it doesn't wear off. And again, the type of cover you use is really just up to you. I prefer myself to use a pencil to do the scoring, and just to make sure that I've got enough lead in it, I like to use a mechanical pencil. It's got some spare leads on the bottom. It doesn't matter if you use a pencil or a pen, there's not much difference at all. You have an eraser if you make a mistake. Some players like to use a pen, but that's totally up to them. I prefer to use the pencil, and then once the scores are correct, and then write it in biro and just rub the pencil out. I just carry a small piece of spare tape just in case you need to do running repairs on a sail on a pole. And you just do need a timekeeping device. I just use a stopwatch. I find that a bit easier to use myself. A lot of guys and girls use a watch, but I prefer this because I like to count the time down, not keep time on analog time. The last thing we probably need, if you're umpiring in good conditions and it's fairly sunny, just a pair of sunglasses. That's any type you're really comfortable with. There's no restrictions on the size, the colour, the type. Obviously if you need prescription glasses and you have prescription sunglasses, that's ideal. I just wear something that provides a bit of protection for the eyes. Look after yourself. That's about the basic type of equipment that an Australian rules football goal umpire would use. You can carry mints and band-aids and extra things. That's totally up to you to personalise it, but that's our basic equipment. And thank you for watching.